Good day, this is Versen Bola here, Carib-Sport. Well, let me get straight to it. Some very sad news, and I hope it can be situation can be reversed. Straight to it. Presence FC is basically threatening to leave the league as of this week. Presence FC, who are they? They are the number one team in the league standings right now. They are presently first. So why? What's happening? Well, I spoke to Coach Dexter Cyrus. He had left me a message 2 days ago. We played phone tag. We missed each other. And I figured he'll get back to me when he can. And from someone else, I got the message, and then I contacted him to confirm. They're leaving the league basically because they're not getting this stipend, monthly stipend they believe they're supposed to get. So let me start from the beginning. According to Mr. Cyrus, there was a meeting held on September 3rd, 2025 at the Ttpfl Stadium. And every club appeared at this meeting except Defence Force. And they were given some information by first of all, the director of prisons had said he was very eager not to have the team demoted this year because prisons was having a so-so season, and this is why he brought in Dexter Cyrus and his coaching staff. So Cyrus attended a meeting at the Ttpfl Stadium with the manager, and he said the Ttfa president Karen Edwards said the following quote. This is Mr. Cyrus quoting Edwards. This season, we want to deal with the service teams differently as it pertains to subventions. Instead of giving them a fixed figure, we will give them subventions based on how many civilians they have. This will make the competition a bit more even for teams like prisons, unquote. All right? So what does this mean? It means if you have a lot of staff and a few civilians, you get some money. If you have a lot of civilians and some staff, you get more money. Okay? This is what they said. So Dexter Cyrus said he left the meeting with the manager intent that they were going to get, as he put it, out with the old, in with the new. He said last season they had basically all staff, one civilian. They had at least 7 players in their mid-30s to 40, to 40. The 40-year-old being the goalkeeper. And, they would start poorly and finish poorly because of this particular problem. They left the meeting, and based on Karen Edwards' information, they brought in a bunch of civilians. Now this season they only have one prisons member and everybody else is a civilian. They have a bunch of players under the age of 30 and as you can see, the team is doing very well. They're presently first. It's a rare moment for prisons. It's a pleasant surprise for everybody who watches prisons play football. But lo and behold, they are not getting the money they thought they would get. Based on what they did, they were expecting to get around 50 to 55,000 a month for 7 months, which is what the other teams should be getting, but they're getting only around 25. This is the information I was given. Subventions per season. In 2022-23 season, 250,000 was given for 4 months, which is 65,000 a month. In 2023, despite it being a longer season, less money was given. 2023 to 24 season, 129 was given for 7 months at 18,000 per month. 2024 to 25 season, which is last season, 129 for 7 months, again 18,000 per month. So this season, with more civilians and based on what Karen Edwards said, they've been given 175 for 7 months, which is $25,000 per month. Again, based on the math given to them, they were expecting to get 50 to 55. You cannot run a club on $25,000 a month. Now, some people might say, well, it's your job to have pro football and handle it yourself. What are you looking for people to mine you for? Whereas that might be correct, this is the agreement they have with the Ttfa. This is what they believe all the other clubs with civilians are getting. So why are they being treated differently? I asked him, was a contract signed? He said no, but it was said at a meeting. Now, based on what I know, if it was said at a meeting in front of witnesses, there's some legally binding situation there. You might remember Jack Warner and his promise made to the Soca Warriors in Bahrain, only to make a U-turn and get caught up with it in a court of law when Mr. Warner lost, or Warner/Ttfa. So this is the situation they find themselves in. So I asked him, well, what does police and defense force have to say? Are they in a similar situation? And he explained to me, oops, better keep on the glasses, boy, going blind. He explained to me, no, they are not in the same situation. You have to understand the organization, logistics, and schematics of these teams in comparison to prisons. As he put it, police and defense force, they have their staff, they have their reserves, and they can hire people when they want. End of story, bam, bam. Okay? And police has a sponsor. So again, staff, reserves. He said prisons is different. To work for Presence, you have to take an exam that's given every 5 or 6 years, and then you have to do an interview. He said about 5 people did pass the exam. They've been put on the Presence football team. But again, if they wanted to get more staff, I say if they wanted to get more staff, they would have to wait for the exam, which is every 5 or 6 years. So those 5 people who pass the exams, they're not even hired by Presence yet as staff, but they're hired as civilians with the understanding, I guess, that one day they'll be staff or something. Um, so this is Present's problem. One, they do not have a sponsor, and two, they can't hire everybody willy-nilly, um, because there's a certain procedure to hiring people. Me, I would hire some people to clean and sweep, and if you could get away with it, and put them on the football team. But maybe it's not that simple. You have the president to clean and sweep, right? So what do you do? So this is a problem they're having. They believe they're not being treated right, and they went and reorganized the team, a much improved team and a much younger team, based on what Mr. Edwards said at that meeting at the Atto Bolden. Please note, I did try to contact Yale Antoine, who's head of the Ttpfl, because what happens is that Dexter Cyrus contacted him, told him what was happening, and said they were going to leave the league. And Antoine said Ttpfl were going to have a meeting on Saturday, and they would discuss it. And Present's next game is against Club Sando on Sunday. All right. I don't know how that meeting is going to go. I left a message for Mr. Antoine. In all fairness to him, it was 5:30 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon, about 2.5 hours before this video. I guess he could get back when he could get back, if he ever will. I wanted him to have a chance to speak so I could be more informed, but I look forward to him or Mr. Edwards responding. And so that's the situation with Presence right now. It's very sad. Then there were compounded problems. As he put it, look, Presence team, a lot of the men are from South. They come, if you know Trinidad, Labrie, Santa Flora, Paleseco. This is deep, 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 deep South. All right. And when you have to train at the YTC, I believe it's called, which is around Piaco, and then you have to, and you finish training, you finish shower, and you're getting in a car or taxi at night at 9:30 p.m. A lot of these men don't get home till after midnight. You go to San Fernando and you're trying to get a taxi to Labrie or Santa Flora. He said some men were getting home at minutes to 2 in the morning. Minutes to 2. Imagine you in Piaco trying to get taxi, and you trying to go down to Labrie or Paleseco, at 9:30 at night. If you're lucky, you'll hit south at San Fernando at 10:30, and then you still have to try to get a taxi to go further down. As a Northman who traveled from Digo to Paleseco more than once, not travel with that, not pay passage, but travel in the car. That is a hell of a ride, Jared. It's a hell of a ride. So, these fellas are paying their dues. He said a lot of these men left their jobs. They left their jobs and the little hustle they had to come to prisons thinking they would get paid, and now they're being told this. And it's been a lot of sacrifice made by a lot of people, including Mr. Dexter Cyrus, who I believe is from the Santa Flora area. So, it's a hell of a thing. Can you imagine? You finish training at 9, you shower, you get out of there at 9:30, and you got to get down to Santa Flora, Labrie, Paleseco. That is some hard stuff. Now, in my last video, I was asking, who is Enley Gazette? Enley Gazette transferred to Prisons. I noticed he scored for Prisons. I couldn't see where he was from. No information. There's a reason you have no information on Enley Gazette. Enley Gazette is a prisoner at Prisons. He's incarcerated for murder. Now, he's known as an intern client. Permission was given from the High Court to allow him to play for Prisons and help to rehabilitate himself. Hence the term intern client. He played for them. He scored their first goal of the season. They've been doing very well. He's very happy. He said when he came and told Gazette that he would no longer be playing, there's no more football, he cried until his eyes swelled shut. He said to me, Mr. Cyrus said to me, you ever see a man cry until his eyes swell shut? No, I have never seen that. I know that. So, this is what is happening with Prisons. They believe they're in they chose their team and organized their logistics based on what they were told at a meeting at the Atto Bolden on September 3rd. And I said to Mr. Cyrus, well, I don't know what legal action you guys would like to take, if you want to take it that far, if you think it's worth it. But it was said in a room with witnesses, I believe Mr. Cyrus, so which means there's a certain degree of obligation right there. Again, remember Jack Warner and his shenanigans in Bahrain, right? And again, there's going to be a meeting held on Saturday by the Ttpfl. Hopefully something positive can come out of this. Also, I understand that on Friday they want to play a Ttpfl President's 11 against Dwight York's World Cup squad, and I was told that anybody playing that match who has a match on Sunday is expected to play on Sunday. All right. So that's another topic for another time. So, question answered. I know who Enley Gazette is now. I have said in many videos for the last year, Presence is my favorite underdog team. I like how they have turned out bad mind and shock people sometimes. Without doubt, Jeremiah Vidal and Bertrand Figuera were the two star boys at the side, but there were one or two other good players. I now understand, I mean, damn, with so many over 30 players, 35, 37, 40, I can understand why they were catching tail. That was really a glorified amateur side. They had a more professional approach this year. We are seeing it. We're seeing the results right there on the field. I hope this can be resurrected. Worst case scenario, they miss out a match this weekend and they don't get 3 points, But I mean, I like Presence, but they didn't beat the big boys. They didn't beat Defense Force. They didn't beat Central. So I was waiting patiently to see what happened. But there's no doubt that Presence came this season with some bad mind and the right attitude. And one of the attitudes was not to not get demoted. Again, my favorite underdog team. I wish them the best. I wish the best to Dexter Cyrus, a top striker from the 90s. And I hope they can turn this around. And maybe Karen Edwards or Mr. Antoine can speak on this topic. So to Presence FC, I wish you the best of luck. God bless the Ttpfl. God bless Presence FC. God bless me.